Hey, good morning, folks. Like I said, there was going to be a part two with Real with Robo. Let me get my list here. Let me get my list. As you see, I got my little list. I had to write it down because, I'm too lazy to do all that fancy, nifty video crap that everybody else do, and so I basically want you to be listening and thinking with your own mind. I don't want you to be looking at pictures, being distracted by music, doing all that other BS. I want us to have a conversation, communication, some civil discourse. Now, I promise that I will give you my opinions on Portland BLM's demands and why they are wrong. Because, see, last video I explained why they were insulting, degrading, and hateful toward the black community. Now I'm going to explain why they're wrong, okay? Now, number one, move jail, prison, and police funds to schools, jobs, and social services. Well, that'd be all good and dandy, but think about it. Where do we put the bad people? We put them in jail, right? Put them in prison, right? Okay. So if we defund that in order to have funds, because the government is not going to fund the prisons, they're not going to do it. Okay? So basically, what's going to happen is the prison's going to look to the private sector and say, hey, you can run this prison the way you want to, and with your people, as long as you pay the bills. And then you might get somebody more messed up than Kamala Harris, when she used to use the prisoners, elongate their terms so that they could be used to put out fires, etc., in California. Okay, and that's a fact, by the way. You could go ahead and look it up. It was on the Democratic debates when they were going down to the one person they wanted. Yeah, so Kamala Harris did that. And that was a government-owned prison that she did that with. Now we're talking about a private sector prison. I mean, the laws are just, the variations is just out there. Like, there are so many variations of what could possibly happen. It's not a good thing. Now, I agree that money should be given, not that money, but more money should be given to schools, jobs, and social services. That would indeed enhance any community. And the second one, close Long Creek Youth Development Center. I'm still too lazy to look that up. I'm going to just guess that it is like the California Youth Authority, where they send bad kids to get, reprimanded, like kiddie jail. Oh no, I'm just going with the flow, what it sounds like. It doesn't sound like a daycare center to me, okay? I mean, to be real. And that could be bad too. Because you're thinking like this, okay, a 14-year-old, out of control, does something against the law, gets caught by the cops for it, gets sent to this youth authority, right? In that youth authority, there's counselors and various other people to help those children get back on track. Now, I want to know what you think if we close those kind of youth facilities. Where are the kids going to get, go to understand and comprehend that when you do a no-no when you're an adult, it's a lot more rough. Okay? So I don't think closing a child's youth authority is going to help the children in the black community at all. And that's another reason why I don't think closing the prisons would help at all. Refuse to enforce federal immigration laws. And the second one is refuse any cooperation with federal immigration enforcement people. Now, the thing that's wrong about this is this. Immigration is in place because when we have jobs that are left over, all the people in one area, say there's 36 people in one area, and there's 70 jobs. Well, the 36 people get their jobs, and let's say there's 20 jobs left over, because, some of the people wanted to work 2 jobs. I don't know. Okay. 20 jobs left over. That's when that community says, hey, we've got more jobs than we have people. We need some workforce. And that's when immigration comes in and fills those jobs. Okay? You see where I'm going with this? Now, without the immigration laws, what happens is people flood that area. One of the things that happen, they take the jobs that usually, let's say, pay $8 an hour, and they'll work those jobs for $4 an hour. So, of course, they're going to get hired over the people that live there, because the people that live there are like, no, man, you got to pay me $8 an hour, okay? I'm not going for no $4 an hour. That's BS. So those corporations are going to hire the illegal immigrants because, number one, the laws haven't been strictly enforced as of late. There was a couple times. But, they're going to get the jobs before you do. So if there's like 70 jobs and there's like 70 people in that little area, and there's a whole bunch of illegal immigrants that will work for lower than you, they're going to get the jobs first. You see what I'm saying? Because most corporations have absolutely no moral compass whatsoever. Okay? Cheap labor is always the best labor in their minds.
It's not the bottom line.
Ask Nike. They have sweatshops. Apple. They have sweatshops. Okay? It's about profit. That's all they want. Another problem with that is when immigration laws are not involved and they don't need to check in at the border, you bring in diseases. Now, a lot of people are like, well, that is kind of hateful because you're talking about, they're disease-ridden or blasé or better than or whatever. No, I'm not. I'm stating an actual fact. When we travel out of country to these particular countries, we have to get immunized against whatever diseases they have there. When illegals come into the country, they do not go through quarantine like everybody else does. Like regular legal immigrants, they get held at the border for 2 weeks because that is a median incubation time of most diseases, except for Ebola, because you don't know you have Ebola until you start spitting up blood, and then it's too late, okay? All right? So now you're wanting various countries' diseases back in America. And a lot of you are not military, therefore you are not immunized against these diseases. And so now you're bringing disease to your community. It's not a good thing, man. That's just logic. Now, also, there's criminals that come across the border. Whether you like to admit it or not, whether you want to say, oh, well, you know, Ro, you're racist because not all of the immigrants are bad people. Illegal immigrants are criminals, period. I don't care if they're Mother Teresa, period. They did not come across the right way like everybody else did. They committed the crime of entering into the United States without prior approval. That's a crime. However, the ones I'm talking about are the ones that deal drugs, rape children, are part of big sex rings, etc., etc. Gangbangers, all that. Now you figure like this. Don't we have enough crime in our cities and our country already? Do we really need to import crime? Again, sanctuary cities do nothing for the law-abiding good people in the cities. They take jobs, they spread disease, and many of them don't care about our laws. Okay? So I'm just going to put that on the forefront. I have nothing against anybody. And I believe, hey, you know what? Maybe some people are good, maybe some people are bad. But the fact of the matter is, if they're illegal, they have already committed a crime. And if they're willing to cross that line and commit that crime, what makes you think they're not willing to commit further crimes? What if they can't get a job and somebody recruits them for a gang? Then what? Think. Now, decriminalize all drug and prostitution related offenses. You already know how I feel about these demands and anything to do with these demands. It sickens me. It sickens me that so many in the black and white communities are behind this movement, and they're basically saying that all you are is prostitutes, pimps, drug dealers, and crackheads. I can't get with that. I can't get with people that think that of their own people. It's astounding to me that people don't look at this and say, what are you saying? That we're all pimps and hoes and drug addicts and crackheads and crack dealers? Like, real talk. I mean, keep it real. And, you know, quite a few of these are just criminal laws. And that kind of makes me wonder. I don't know if it makes you wonder, but it makes me wonder. Why so many amendments, demands about criminal activities? Are the activists in this particular branch of the movement criminals? Are they illegal immigrants? Because these don't look like the demands of people that want their communities to flourish. You know what I mean? It looks like people that want to have their problems erased. It looks selfish. Now, I'm just putting that in there. Now, free colleges, etc., I mean, that would be great, okay? And I'm not going to knock it. Free Medicare and free colleges would be great. The only question you got to ask yourself is, where is this money coming from? Oh, well, we could take it from defunding the prisons and all that. What you don't realize is that if these demands were to go into action, the state would not get government funding because federal law mandates that each state provide certain services to their communities in order to get the funding. So now we're left with taxpayers in the particular city and particular state. Well, if you allow an influx of illegal immigrants to come into your city to work for less, to take the jobs from your people, how are you going to pay taxes? And don't get me wrong, I realize that some illegals pay taxes, okay? But illegal immigration pays about $16 million in taxes every year and costs us about $64 million in taxes every year. You see what I'm saying? You'll have no government funding. So then it would be on the taxpayers. And your taxes are going to be raised to astronomical heights. And I know a lot of you people are like, well, you know what? Maybe we should tax the rich more. Okay. And what happens when they move the fuck out? Not a lot of people have thought this through, clearly. Divest from use of all fossil fuels. Okay, when we talk about fossil fuels, we're talking about coal, we're talking about natural gas. You're basically stating that you want the power and all cars, etc., to be ran on solar, hydro, and wind. Okay? Portland, Oregon doesn't have a lot of sunshiny days. So maybe we'll get wind. Where is the hydro going to come in? And by the way, those three things, the way you gather energy from those three things does damage the earth. If you really want to get jiggy with it, you could actually learn how to use nuclear energy, which is clean burning energy. And I'm down for that. I'm sure, let's all do that. But you have to harness that first. And harnessing nuclear energy, especially if you're not properly trained, can cause a major, major disaster. Ask Chernobyl. Let me see what other ones. And police as COVID-19 law enforcement. I mean, like I said, who are they going to get to do that? Are they going to go out and do that? Are they going to put their lives on the line and the health and well-being of their families on the line? I don't think so. They're going to turn to you to do that. And I guarantee you, ain't nobody going to do it. Remove police from school budget. So what you're saying is, other than, the simple fact that they mishear that police aren't on a school budget, they're on the police station's payroll. Okay. Other than that, let's play devil's advocate. They're on the school budget. You take the police off the school budget, you don't have a courtesy officer. Someone comes in with the newsie, because right now with these demands, criminality is going to skyrocket. And we all know that criminals follow the law. And someone comes in with the newsie and starts pegging your kids and killing them. Without cops, who's going to stop them? Who's going to stop them? Are you going to get your Second Amendment, go down to the school in enough time to save those kids? Cops are an intricate part of our society. And whether you like to admit it or not, they're needed. Now, granted, not all of them are good. I'm not going to say all of them are good. But not all of them are bad either. So, if you want me to concede to the point that not all of them are good, then you've got to concede to the fact that not all of them are bad either. Now, like I said, the call for arrest of the officers who killed Breonna Taylor, that would be great, except for one thing. They knocked on the door and announced themselves. The guy said, I didn't hear what they said. Everyone knows that's a load of shit. Okay? Because when police knock at the door, they do not knock at the door like a little kid and go, police, it's the police. What is this, Police Academy again? It's the police. No, they bang on your door with their flashlight and go, whatever police department, open up. So that bullshit bypassed me. Second thing, what if, has anybody considered this? What if the fatal bullet didn't come from the officer's guns and it came from the boyfriend's gun? Because when you're caught in a crossfire and in that kind of situation, you don't know who fired the fatal bullet. But let's play devil's advocate. Let's say the cops' guns fired the fatal bullet. How is it justice to put them behind bars? They were getting shot at. How would you react if you were in the cop's shoes? Allocate funds from prison police to COVID-19 relief funds. I thought we were allocating funds from prisons, police, etc. to pay for schools, social services, and whatever else. You can't allocate funds to two places, buddy. I'm not even doing the racial impact, because that is so disrespectful. That is so hateful to say that you need racial impact statements about policies in schools. Because clearly the person that wrote this feels that black and brown children and black and brown teachers can't get along on their own damn merit. And I'm sorry, but that pisses me off. That pisses me the fuck off. Because I see so many people applauding BLM, and in their demands, they degrade you so horrifically. Okay? I'm supposed to be non-emotional here. I mean, I just think of my 4 mixed kids when I read these demands. My daughter was valedictorian of her class. My son graduated with honors. Okay. Let's just skip that because I don't want to deal with that. Purchase and use only history and civic books authored by Black and Native scholars. The problem with that is that the real history is going to come out. And then when someone calls another person an Uncle Tom, they'll realize they're stupid. Because Uncle Tom actually died. Because he would not tell the slave master where the 2 female slaves escaped to, or escaped their path. He would not let that go. He stood up for his community, and he died a martyr, a true martyr, a man filled with integrity. And so that would dissipate all this bullshit and half of the left's insults. Ban facial recognition tech, which endangers black femmes. Like I said in my previous video, femmes is a Latin word and it means females. How is facial recognition used in society? It is used to find criminals. So what you're saying is that facial recognition is endangering female criminals, and that's bad? I'm starting to wonder what the history of the people who wrote these retarded demands, their criminal history is. Because in these demands, they degrade, they have a plan to destroy, and it seems self-serving to me. That's my video part 2. If these demands ever went into action, I would feel sorry for any community that these demands go into action for, because it would literally destroy that community. And no, not if it was a white community or a whatever color community. I mean, these demands degrade black people so much. So much. That's real with Robo. I'm done.